Hello, welcome to my theoretical presentation on readings regarding Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, and Antonio Gramsci. The first reading I'll be analyzing is The Ruling Class and the Ruling Ideas by Marx and Engels, and then we'll go on to the concept, the reading of Gramsci, which is the history of subaltern classes, the concept of ideology, and three cultural themes, ideological material. But continuing with Marx and Engels, they're both German philosophers that were both born in Prussia. Karl Marx specifically was born in Trier, Prussia, and passed away March 14th, 1883. Marx was a German philosopher, but he's also kind of looked at as a strong advocate because he analyzed various perspectives of life that we come across, such as politics, economics, history, and then he has his revolutionary perspective of revolutionary socialism. He is known he's known really more for his authoring of the Communist Manifesto, which is a reading that I am studying in one of my dialogue courses, which is pretty much in regards to like the ruling class and dissecting the struggles of the working class also. But with Friedrich Engels, like I said, another German philosopher who collaborated with Marx in authoring and assisting in shaping the Marxist theory. Marxism being the concept which advocates the overthrow of capitalism and pretty much where the process of production is collectively owned. It was pretty interesting to see that Engels, who, again, born in Prussia in, I think, 1820, he actually supported Marx in ways that he kind of funded for his family and, of course, for the work that they were doing. But in specific, I'm analyzing our reading of The Ruling Class and the Ruling Ideas by Marx and Engels, where it is initially explained that the ones who contain the force of materials in society are the ones who rule intellectually and consciously. This actually reminds me of the new Willy Wonka, especially because in the movie, the theme of where the greedy will definitely always come out of things higher than the needy, pretty much is what they're trying to explain. And to where areas such as mental production, ways of thinking, producing of ideas, regulation of production, and like the distribution of all of it are all like being manipulated in a way to maintain someone and to maintain their status. That's why I think this reading in specific focuses on the ruling class and its ability to force coercion and control through materials and intellectuality. The ways of the ruling class, in a way, is kind of being normalized, especially through our modern ways, to where the methods that keep them as the ruling class is simply now a standard to their dominance. Especially with things like private property or inherited wealth. It's a vital reason why society is pretty much going to be stuck in this capitalistic loop. The concept of detaching the capitalistic ideologies towards things like material labor or mental labor can pretty much allow aims of society to be universal. Which isn't where everyone gets to sit down and still consume the way they're consuming. It's pretty much regulations on things like property, landlords, regulation of private property, or abolishing it, and to where like production is being collectively owned and can put a stop to specific narratives and specific interests being pursued at the cost of others, of course. And now moving on to the reading by Antonio Gramsci, who is an Italian philosopher that studied Marxism and critiques it. And so he was born in Italy in 1891. Gramsci prioritized the roles of culture, ideology, and the maintaining of the ruling class and pretty much how they're staying in the position that they're staying in. The perspective on the control and manipulation to like a culturally diverse society has pretty much become a norm, and that's why Gramsci dives into what concepts or which concepts such as cultural hegemony. But in specific, again, this reading is analyzing like the unity or ruling classes and how they're the driving force in history and in the reality that we see today. Knowing or following the history of subaltern groups is complex, since like the repercussions of party activity. Therefore, that's why Gramsci focused on the objective, in which the origins of social groups and their mentalities, ideologies, and their aims are the ones being conserved, being prioritized. Going on with the concept of ideology, Gramsci looks at it as a form of investigation or a process in which we're supposed to utilize in a way that breaks down the elements or the origins of an idea, but pretty much it's kind of like vice versa right now. So instead of us using it as a strength, we kind of have to, like in the Zizek video, the man had to put on the glasses to actually view the real truths of the ideology and see the manipulation and the actual narrative behind it. Ideologies can spring from things like sensationalism, but are also in regards to the origin or like the system of ideas. There's a crucial distinction between historically organic ideologies versus ideologies that are motivated by will and will eventually affect the validity and the influence that it has on man. Lastly, regarding cultural themes within the materialistic lens of production and the focus of the structure, which is pretty much manipulated and created from another ideological foundation. So, for example, pretty much our country and the foundation that it's built on still contains certain ideological ways, narratives, processes that are now just in modern form. So using our own consumerism against us, just coming up with new ways to control and stay in the position that they have, because clearly they can't enslave us the way that they were enslaving people, just outright. That stopped because of people rebelling, questioning authority, and the revolutions coming from that. In this reading, there was an emphasis on involving all the influences which have an impact on societal opinion, which again would bring understanding of an historical model of materialistic structures or forms of production, but it also allows individuals to be aware of the forces in which use their power to pretty much be a puppet master. But yeah, other than that, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it.